My name is Liz and I'm a registered dietitian at the UNC Wellness Center. Today we're going to make some applesauce, and there's nothing like having the smell of applesauce with all the cinnamon goodness cooking in your house. So we're going to go ahead and get started with applesauce. You need 2 pounds of peeled, cored, and chopped apples. I have a majority of them already right here. You just take your apple, you're going to cut it to the slightly right of the core in order to get the majority of that core out, and then just chop it in smaller pieces. And the recipe calls for mostly Granny Smith apples, and I love Granny Smith apples, but they're just a little bit tartar than I'd like. So for my applesauce, at least, it's not as sweet because I like my applesauce a little bit sweeter. So I actually use a variety of apples. I have in here some McIntosh. I do have a Gala, and then I have some Granny Smith. So I just like to use a variety. It really doesn't matter. Yes, it will affect your taste, but again, if you use the more tart apples, then you're gonna get a little bit more of a tart applesauce. Or you might need to add some more sugar, and that's something we'll get to momentarily. So you peel the apple, then you just slightly right of the core all the way around, and then you can just chop into smaller pieces. Whoops, make sure you get it in the bowl. This one I didn't do as good of a job, so I need to just go through and cut out that inside core. Give it a chop. This is also a really good way to use up apples if you have them that are starting to go bad. You're just gonna cook them and mash them down anyway, so you might as well use ones that are a little bit on the older side if you find to. All right, so we have our apples in our bowl. I'm gonna use a Dutch oven today because I want it to be nice and big. That way when we get to the point where we're mashing down our apples, we're gonna have a big enough pot to do it in. So we have our apples, and then we have a half a cup of apple cider. So we're gonna go over to the stove next. So we have all of our apples in our pot. We have our half a cup of apple cider. Give it a good stir, make sure everything is nice and wet with the juice. Turn it on to a medium heat. You're gonna get that to boiling, and then you're gonna go ahead and simmer it. Once you get it to the point where it's boiling, you're gonna turn the heat down to about a low, simmer it. You're gonna put your lid on, and you're gonna let that be for about 20 minutes. So we'll see you in about 20 minutes to find out the last step. Hey guys, we're back. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our lid off of our pot, check our apples, and they are nice and soft, which is exactly what we wanted to have happen. So we're gonna turn the heat off. I use my potato masher for everything. I'm gonna go ahead and mash the apples this way in order to keep them still a little bit chunky, as to not puree them, but still mash them down. All right, and then once you have them all mashed down, then we're gonna add some of our seasonings. So we're gonna do the juice of a half a lemon. And then we're gonna go ahead and add some cinnamon, some cloves, some nutmeg, some ginger. And then last, the recipe calls for a cup of brown sugar. And the dietitian in me says, ooh, that's a lot of added sugar. So I'm gonna put in a half a cup. You can always add more, you just can't take it away. So let's go ahead and start with just a half a cup. Now, you're gonna want this to go back to that simmer that you were at with your stove for about 12 minutes. And this is just really to get the flavors to meld all together. We'll turn the heat back on to about a low heat. Mash up the last few bit of those chunks. And we'll check it out in a few. Okay, so it's been 12 minutes. We were letting it simmer with all the flavoring that we added to it. Now we're going to scoop it out, put it in our bowl. So it's a little bit of a chunkier applesauce, like I said. It's not all pureed down like you get in the grocery store. So it has a little bit more texture to it, which is excellent. And so this particular Tupperware container that I have it holds about 3 to 4 cups or so. So you have servings for the entire week. Let's go ahead and give it a try. It's excellent, 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 excellent. So there you go. There's some homemade applesauce for you. This is definitely the time of year to make applesauce. It's nice and warm and yummy and cozy, as well as this is apple season, so you can get definitely the ones that are in season. Hope you enjoyed this today. See you again soon.